Hey guys, today we're going to be installing this dome light MOLLE panel on my second gen Tacoma. Let's get this thing started. So here we are in the ceiling of my truck, guys. I did change my headliner to black, so if you guys haven't seen that video yet, I'll link that down below. And I also did remove the dome light already. And here's a quick review of how you can accomplish that. So now let's work on removing this dome light, guys. This just requires a flathead on the one side to pop it out, just like that. I'm gonna remove the dome light itself in the panels. Right now they're just taped on there. And we can twist this 90 degrees and also pop this cover out. We'll pull it out from the passenger side first, pop out the one side. There is a harness on the light, so I'll remove that right now. Same thing, guys, there's a little tab. You have to press down up top and this whole thing just pushes right out. Now once you have the dome light removed, you'll basically see it like this. Don't mind my extra wire that's hanging out here. This wire is basically just a loose connection that I have running to the back, as I am planning on using this in the future, so don't mind this, I'll just tuck it away. So here we are zoomed in at the wire harness on that dome light, and you'll see that there's 3 different wires here. The middle will be your green wire, one of the outside wires will be a solid white wire, and the other outside wire is a white wire with a black stripe. Your solid white wire is your constant 12 volt. This green wire in the middle is your ground that does turn ground when you have your doors open. And this white wire with the black stripe is your constant ground. So now it's time to cut this harness off because we're not going to be using this. What we'll do is first open up this electrical tape so that we have more wire to work with. And let's cut that off. Now I would recommend disconnecting the battery so that you don't short anything and blow a fuse. So this is going to be our new wiring harness, and we'll basically just cut, strip, and tap this into the existing connection. It's going to be fairly easy because with tapping, you'll be using white goes to white, the green goes to green, and the red goes to the last one, which is the white with the black stripe. We'll start with cutting off each wire. I mean, I'm cutting it very close to the harness because I'm definitely not reusing this harness. But you guys, if you wanted to have a way to reverse it, you can cut probably a couple inches up, 1.5 inches up, so you have extra room to re-tap if you really want to, but I'm definitely choosing not to. So I cut the white wire and strip it. All right, I'm stripping it maybe about 1/2 inch. I'll give this a nice twist and fold so it fattens up the bundle and ensures a good crimp. I'll take our new wire harness, basically crimp on white to white. Easy enough, right? Now we're moving on to the next wire, the green wire. Cutting it, stripping that, get about 1/2 inch, twisting it, and then folding it over. And now we can crimp on that wire. And on to the last one. There we go. Now, it would definitely be good to reconnect your battery and test everything. So here's the MOLLE panel. We're going to connect it to the truck. And we have basically the system set up and ready. So I'll test the on position first. So we'll turn this on, and we'll turn on the white and the red. So as you can see, that's all working. The door is off. So now I switch it to door. I'm gonna open the door, and you see it go on. So that means your wiring job is good. So I'll disconnect this whole thing again, and we can now shrink all those crimps. Now let's take a lighter and basically shrink these crimp connectors. And if you have a heat gun's definitely better. So I'm just using this for those who do not have a heat gun. So just take a lighter and shrink that bad boy. So for the next part of the work, we do have these 4 slots, and that's what we're going to be using for mounting our brackets. So we'll have 2 different size brackets, and it's going to be on a carriage bolt with a flange nut, as you see like this. The head of the carriage bolt is just a tiny bit bigger than the width of the slot there. So we'll have to angle it in and then finagle this bracket so that it can go behind and hook on that slot. And then once you have that slotted in, you gotta make sure that the head of this carriage bolt is sitting flush against there. Like you'll feel it. So you wanna be able to twist this carriage bolt inside the bracket without basically it spinning. So if it's spinning, that means it hasn't seated. You want it seated like that. So I'll try to demonstrate that. It might be a little bit tough to see on camera, but hopefully you get the idea. So angle it in, like as you can see, that head is much bigger than the slot. So I'll angle it in like that. And then we'll take this plastic bracket, we'll finagle the one side in first, and then the other side. Then you'll have it stick out like that. So as you can see, the bracket is designed so you can leverage the edge of that. And then as you can see now, I can't really twist it. If it freely spins like this, that means the head hasn't seated. So now head seated, we can drive that nut back and secure it against this this part of the frame. So I'm gonna hold the threads and then use my other finger to drive that nut down and basically flush it up so it's secure. Then we'll take our 11mm wrench and then just snug it down. This doesn't have to go too crazy tight. So as you can see, it's right on there, rock solid. Shouldn't be going anywhere, and I can't spin this thread because it's been locked in. Now we'll do that again with the wider bracket. So angle the head in, push the plastic bracket inboard so you can get the one side in, push the other side in, and then just finagle it so that you have the flange basically on the frame, and then you have the lower part of the bracket sticking out. Double check to make sure that the threads don't twist. So you can see that one's good, almost locked in. Drive that nut back and snug that down. That's good on there, and we'll do that 2 more times. And when you are snugging it down, just make sure you get the nut flushed, and then maybe you do a 1/4 of a turn, and that should be tight enough. Good. So now that we got these 4 carriage bolts in, we can put in our spacers. So we got to drive these spacers in like that, and then we'll take a flange nut and then just snug it down by finger. You don't need to drive that down with a wrench. Finger tight is enough. We'll do that 4 times. And good. Now I do just want to point out, guys, that this is a pretty solid mount if you're pulling downwards, but this does have a lot of twist to it because it's basically a long skinny bracket that goes around the top. And that's why this MOLLE panel has these stability pads here. So The stability pads basically press up against the ceiling itself, and that prevents the twisting. Basically, the rest is easy peasy. Let's reconnect this wiring harness here, tuck it in the back, and then we'll line up the 4 offset holes that you see, and then just push up against the ceiling, as I mentioned earlier, like with the stability. So get that driven down, and these will come standard with the flange nuts, as you see, like this. You just drive down the 4 flange nuts. And just make sure you snug it down and really tighten that up. Yeah, that's basically what it looks like standard. So push that in and then just drive this down. But what I'm gonna do is actually the nut option, the hook nut option that you guys can pick from the drop down there. So I'll take this out, and you can put a washer and basically this mounting nut. It allows you to drive down the nut without having an extra tool. So when it comes to adding your accessories and such, it's much easier since you can do that on the fly. And when you get these mounting nuts, you'll also get the spare lights for these, one spare white and one spare red. And the way these are designed, these are replaceable. So it is pretty nice. Here's the last one. And that's good. Look at that. See, the frame is now very stable with those stability pads on that MOLLE panel itself. Now to go over the function of this thing, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You have door on, white or red. So if you want the system to be on all the time, and then you select which one you want on. So I want the white on, then the white will just stay on. If I want the red on, red will stay on. And you could obviously mix and match as needed. Same thing with the door. Door is currently closed right now. I'll turn on the white, open the door. The door turns on, or turn on the red. Very straightforward. So I'll close the door and eventually everything will shut off. There we go. And I mean, it also works when you hit the unlock button. So I'm gonna hit the unlock button on my key, then everything turns on. So that's what the door position does. So I'll keep this at red so we don't get any bugs, but the other feature here are these louvers are definitely much deeper than the ones on my front MOLLE panel, so that it doesn't glare towards the front. It'll keep all the light here in the rear. Now zooming out, as you can see, I have that front MOLLE panel and this overhead rear one. So I'm planning on making a wing kit that connects all 3 of them together. So I'm definitely very excited for that. But yeah, that thing looks freaking great. This will be available exclusively at my store, and I'll link that down below. And with that, let's hit this thing with some B-roll. Thanks for watching, guys. If you really like this kit and you want to get it for yourself, it will be linked in the description below. And let me know, what do you guys think about this mod for your truck? Please also leave that in the comment section below. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you liked this video. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe while you're at it. And until next time, peace out, everybody.